Long-distance bus late at night. A group of women dressed in old military uniforms boarded the bus. Once they got on, they chattered non-stop. But as the bus was about to reach the stop, those women vanished into thin air. Today, let me tell you a true story. It was told to me, personally by an old, long-distance bus driver. After listening to it, you might not help but glance in the rearview mirror every time you take a night bus from now on. This driver was from Tangshan. He had been driving long-distance routes for nearly 20 years, a highly experienced veteran. His main route ran from Tangshan to the Jiangsu-Zhejiang area. You have to understand, more than a decade ago, high-speed rail was not as developed as it is today. This long-distance route was a lifeline for many people, traveling between the north and the south. But now, this driver no longer runs this route. Why? Because of one incident, something that scared him to the core. Afterward, he immediately asked his supervisor, "I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this job. Please assign me a short route instead." You might think, who would believe you if you told your boss you saw a ghost? But in the long-distance bus in Ustri, the supervisor actually believed him. Why? Because the lives of everyone on the bus were in the driver's hands. If the driver's mental state went wrong, the consequences would be unthinkable. So the supervisor didn't hesitate and transferred him. So what exactly did he encounter? It happened one afternoon in 2003. The driver departed Tangshan for Zhejiang as usual. Normally, two people were on duty, one driver and one ticket seller. But by coincidence, the ticket seller was sick that day. The driver had no choice but to drive the fully loaded bus alone toward Zhejiang. The trip there was smooth and safe, and he dropped off all passengers without incident. He rested for one night in Zhejiang. The next afternoon, he drove the empty bus back to Tangshan. That's where the story began. Anyone who has taken this route knows, the bus is full on the way there, but on the way back, it passes several cities, and most passengers get off midway. By the time the bus passed Tianjin and neared Tangshan, hardly anyone was left on board. That day was no different. It was around 4 a.m. The sky was still dark, and a light mist hung over the road. Only a young couple remained in the back seat, fast asleep. The driver was still alert. After all, he was an experienced driver. Night driving was routine for him. The bus moved steadily forward. Suddenly, using his headlights, the driver saw a group of people standing by the roadside ahead. He looked closely, at least 7 or 8 of them, waving at him. They clearly wanted a ride. At first, the driver felt happy. He was almost at the terminal, and picking up a few extra passengers, for some side cash was a little trick, every driver understood. He quickly calculated, 20 yuan per person. 7 or 8 people meant another 100 US yuan. So he smoothly pulled over to the side of the road. The door opened. The driver leaned out, ready to ask where they were going. But when he saw them, his hair stood on end. Standing by the roadside were 7 or 8 young girls. But their clothes sent a chill down his spine. It was 23 girls on the street dressed fashionably. But these girls, some wore faded old military uniforms, others wore dark blue old-fashioned work clothes. Their hairstyles were also decades out of date, pageboy cuts, or too long braids. In the early morning mist, they smiled eerily at the driver. Their smiles felt deeply unnatural. The driver's heart skipped a beat. But the door was already open. He couldn't just close it and drive away. He forced himself to stay calm, gritted his teeth, and asked, "Where are you going?" Unexpectedly, the girls chattered in reply, speaking in authentic Tangshan dialect. They said they were going to Tangshan. Their tone was warm and polite. They didn't seem malicious at all. The driver's tense nerves relaxed a little. He thought they might be from a theater troupe just getting off work, or filming a movie. Though he still felt uneasy, he had no reason to effuse them. So he told them, 20 yuan each. You get off at a certain spot downtown. I can't go to the main station. The girls agreed immediately, as if they didn't care about the price at all. Chattering away, they boarded the bus. The driver even reminded them, "Everyone sit tight. We're leaving, G." The bus started again. But the driver's heart was in his throat. He stared ahead at the road, while glancing occasionally at the dim rearview mirror. The inside lights were off. It was pitch black. He could see nothing, only hear them whispering. They drove like this for more than an hour. Sky turned pale. The bus finally entered downtown Tangshan. Seeing familiar streets, the driver's tension finally eased. He was almost home. After 2 busy days, he could soon rest. In a good mood, he flipped on the interior lights. Click. The whole bus lit up instantly. At that exact moment, the driver automatically glanced at the rearview mirror again. He was struck dumb, as if hit by lightning. The back seats were completely empty. The girls who had been chattering moments earlier had vanished like smoke. All of them were gone. The driver was terrified out of his wits. He slammed on the brakes and stopped the bus sharply by the roadside. The sudden jolt was so violent that it woke the sleeping couple in the back. The man hit his head on the front seat, and cried out in pain. Furious, he stormed forward. "What are you doing? We're almost there. Why the sudden brake?" The driver was too scared to speak. His whole body trembled. After several seconds, he stammered and turned to ask the man, "Bro, I need to ask you. Earlier around 5 o'clock when I stopped the bus, didn't a bunch of girls get on? Did you see them?" The man rubbed his head, completely confused. "No. You stopped and talked to someone. I was half asleep. I thought you chatted for a while, but you didn't agree on a price. They didn't get on. You just drove away. Nobody got on back there. Are you okay, driver?" Hearing this, the driver's head buzzed, completely blank. Nobody got on. Then, who was I talking to? Who were those girls sitting in the bus? Suddenly, he remembered. The spot where he had stopped to pick them up was an area severely hit during the 1976 Tangshan earthquake, once the town center. In an instant, he understood everything. He had no idea how he drove the way back to the station. His hands shook so badly he could barely hold the steering wheel. As soon as he arrived, he rushed into the office and finally felt safe when he saw his colleagues. Shaking, he told them everything that had happened. The entire office fell dead silent. Everyone there was from Tangshan? As soon as the driver mentioned the boarding location, they all understood. Everyone looked at him with sympathy and a touch of fear. No one spoke. But everyone knew, what the driver picked up that night was definitely not living people. From that day on, this veteran driver nearly 20 years of experience never touched that route again.